Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Spirit of Justice, as we now move in for our second day of trial with no killer evidence that we know of, but a lot more discovered behind the scenes. We're relying on Rafa's Divination Seance to give us the opening we need to bust the case wide open. So we are in the accused lobby, already declared guilty, of course. Maya looks exhausted, and I can't blame her.
Nick, I was thinking about it all day yesterday. I never properly asked you to defend me, did I?
It doesn't matter. I'm on this case till the bitter end.
I know. That's why I wanted to officially ask you for your help.
You've got it, Maya. Let's do this. We gotta wrap this up and get back home so you can make your dream show come true. The Steel Samurai versus the Plume Punisher, right?
You bet! You look as if you did not sleep last night, Barbed Head. It is written all over your face. How can you expect to put up a respectable defense like that?
I'm all fired up and raring to go. I guess Maya's not the only one looking exhausted. God, I can't imagine how not easy it would be to sleep before this trial, after all.
Rafa doesn't seem in the best spirits herself. Go ahead, feign confidence now while you are still able. For I will see to it that your last rites are read to you this day.
Guess it was just my imagination.
Ready, Nick?
Okay, Maya, let's head on in. Our fate awaits us. Technically, this isn't day 2, when you think about it. This is a completely separately new trial. Highly related, but still. But it still says day 2. Court is now in session. All rise. And now then, if everyone is ready. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. Oh, and no prayers this time, Prosecutor Zeh'lot.
I already offered my prayers for the latest victim during my visit to the crime scene. Being that the accused has already been found guilty of the first murder, let us hasten this trial so we may put this dead lawyer walking out of his misery.
I could not agree more. In yesterday's trial, the accused was already found guilty of murdering the High Priest. And today she will be tried for the murder of his disciple, Puhray Zeh'lot. And now then, Prosecutor Zeh'lot, your opening statement if you would.
Certainly. The accused has now slain 2 of the most devout clergymen in Khura'ism. Even the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling, would not be punishment enough. Oh, where am I going now? Is there a lower level than the lowest level?
Then, what terrible fate awaits her?
Bar-gil-Pokon Hell? Okay, Bar-gil-Pokon Hell, a realm of eternal agony. There she will suffer the endless punishment of Jagar by the Galoon of Pulmotan. Furthermore, Guljama...
Enough! My blood runs cold at the mere thought that such a terrible place exists.
I was going to ask for a translation, but on second thought, ignorance is bliss.
Now then, please continue, minus the part about the terrible hell awaiting the accused.
As you wish. The victim of this heinous crime was the High Priest disciple Puhray Zeh'lot. He had been training under the High Priest while living in the priest's home.
I had met him a number of times, and he seemed like an earnest young man. How tragic that he met such a terrible end.
The murder occurred at the Plaza of Devotion during the Purification Rite. It was a bold crime carried out while the plaza was full of the faithful deep in prayer. The war-bad dagger was found impaled in the victim's upper back. The stabbing caused a spinal cord injury that killed him instantly.
Ah, the war-bad dagger, Lady Kee'ra's weapon of choice.
We have already established that the accused's prints were on the weapon. Incredibly damning evidence in itself. No! I didn't do it! Hold your tongue. Now, being that the accused, Maya Fey, is a serial killer, the prosecution believes that the death penalty is the only possible sentence.
Would the defense care to respond?
The accused is innocent, and nothing can convince me otherwise. After all, the crime scene was packed with worshippers. How could my client possibly have committed this murder without a single witness? The accused's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone is enough to render a verdict. As such, I see no need to debate this any further. But...
Well, once her benevolence conducts a seance, it will be clear for all to see.
Your Majesty, might I have a word?
Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmadi?
It is about the Divination Seance.
Your benevolence!
Stop right there, Prosecutor Sadmadi. As you wish, forgive me for overstepping my bounds. What's that all about? Barbed Head, have you made peace with your fate? For this time, the Divination Seance will bring you to your knees. I'm ready, and I accept your challenge. The only problem is, I have no weapons at my disposal. Our only hope now is that we can glean from the Seance vision and Rafer's insights.
Very well. A divination seance, if you please, your benevolence.
Which the prosecution does not wish us to see, which the prosecution has already seen. Interesting fact. Yes. Let us begin. Nena?
Without it, we'd have no openings, right?
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
So what will it reveal this time?
Huh? What?
I don't get it. Why wasn't there anything to see?
Your benevolence, what in the world?
I was unable to evoke any sort of response. I called out the spirit's name many times, but to no avail. Just as I thought. Wait, what does he know that we don't? I thought to confirm the contents of today's divination seance. After all, it is customary for the prosecutor to verify it beforehand. Come to think of it, I must go perform a divination seance for Puhray Zeh'lot. It is our custom for the prosecution to review its contents before a trial begins. And that is why I sought to stop her benevolence from performing it here. However, she insisted that it be done. She wished to try one more time here in the Hall of Justice.
It would appear her benevolence is tired from her manifold duties.
I am not anything of the sort. The victim's spirit will not answer my call, but I know not why. It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the divination seance.
Rafa, what are we to do about a divination seance?
I suppose I shall have to deliver the last rites without them. The prosecution has already taken that into account when preparing for today. I am fully capable of proving the accused guilt with or without a divination seance.
Ha 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 ha! You never fail to impress Prosecutor Sadmari.
This is bad. The divination seance was my one and only hope. Your Majesty, her benevolence said she isn't tired. So shouldn't we try to find out why the divination seance failed?
How curious, Mr. Wright. Why have you suddenly taken such a keen interest in the divination seance?
Yes, explain yourself. The divination seance is for shedding light on an accused's crimes. It is the Holy Mother's hammer of wrath that is ever poised to pound you into your grave. You should fear it, not plead for it. I believe in my clients. Plus, yesterday, somebody told me something that changed my mind. A divination seance was once thought of as just another piece of evidence. If we were to correctly interpret the visions through careful analysis, then they would lead us to the truth behind what really happened. And the truth will show that my client, Maya Fey, is innocent. The truth is you don't have anything else to fall back on, huh, Nick?
Maya, please, I've got your name wrong again, but you're not helping.
How dare you? The voice of a Mitama is to be feared, not utilized by vile lawyers such as you. Seances exact a heavy toll upon the royal priestesses. It would be best not to burden her any further. Or does the defense feel that it can pose no counter-arguments without the seance?
No, of course not. He saw right through me.
I'll have to find a way to make the divination seance happen, or we're toast.
Well, since the divination seance is not possible at this time, I see no other choice. Let's proceed with the trial without the seance, as Prosecutor Sadmari suggested.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Why, I will not forget this barbed head. I try to help. This will not be the last you see of me. I try to help. I was on your side, kinda. Now then, I will now proceed by providing an outline of the case at hand.
Very well. If the lead detective would please come to the stand, we may begin.
Hello, Emma. Sorry, Mr. Wright. Detective Sky. I understand how you would wish to save the accused and the defense. They are your friends, after all. But you must let them go and move on. But... There is only one way to save them now. By giving their souls the chance to burn away the taint of their sins in the infernal flames. Oh, I can't do this!
Ah, no eating in the Sacred Hall of Justice.
Miss Sky. Yes? Don't worry about me and Nick. You just do your job. I'm sure Nick will figure something out, eventually. Right. Thanks, Miss Faye. How very brave for a criminal with a tainted soul. Very well, Detective Sky. Please proceed. Okay, I can do this. Let me start with an overview of this case.
The overview of the second murder.
The latest victim was Puhray Zeh'lot. He had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest.
I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. Would the defense care to respond?
I didn't spot any inconsistencies in her testimony so far. And I don't have any evidence in my arsenal. What am I going to do now? What was it, Maya? I was just wondering about how much the police actually looked into Acolyte Zeh'lot. Because it just might prove to be the key as to why the divination seance failed. What are you getting at? Well, it's just a hunch. Wait a second. During my investigation, Rafa told me about how the divination seance works. If I can figure out why it failed, maybe she could try it again. Okay, time to press for some more information. Okay, so we need to figure out why it's failed. Well, the only way I'm going to be able to get anywhere with this is by pressing. Latest victim was Puhray Zeh'lot. But, you know, like, yeah, the statements that we have to press here to try and find hopefully some light in the tunnel at the end and all that are stuff we blatantly know. Yes, the latest victim was Puhray Zeh'lot. Am I really going to argue this point? Hold it! Wait a second, what if it wasn't? What kind of person was Acolyte Zeh'lot? According to the neighbours and others who knew him, he was a deeply devout youth. I too have heard his name mentioned as one who was a fervent practitioner. I suppose you might say he was the High Priest's star disciple. Furthermore, he had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. Same time as Maya. 2 years. Are you sure about that? We took statements from his neighbours and his fellow monks. They all corroborate our initial findings. What about you, Maya? Well, when I first came here, I saw Zeh'lot praying under the High Priest's instruction. I see. So the results of the police investigation seem to check out. Again, stuff we knew. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. Interesting. Hold it! Was Mrs. Inme's positive ID the only way you verified the identity of the victim? Ha ha ha! Huh. Well, no. We also checked the ID card he carried and the data in his family registry. But what? His personal information didn't match any of the public records we cross-referenced. Aha! Maybe that's why the divination seance failed. I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Wright. Here's what I'm thinking. His address was wrong, or Puhray Zeh'lot is a fake name. Obviously it doesn't work if you're calling the wrong person, or you're calling a person who doesn't even exist. Our angle. The victim decided to hide his identity for some reason. In other words, he was using a fake name. The royal priestess uses a deceased face and true name to summon their spirits. Why, yes. That is indeed true. If he was using a forged ID and there's no mention of him in our public records, then he was likely an illegal immigrant. They are not uncommon here in Khura'in. An illegal immigrant? Come to think of it, Rafa mentioned something about immigrants yesterday. But if that's the case, we have no way of knowing who he really is. We'll have to proceed without holding a divination seance this time.
I had always thought that Acolyte Zeh'lot was Khura'inese. Oh, how the High Priest must be lamenting his disciples' deception in the Twilight Realm. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Should we add this to the testimony?
Probably, considering the rest of it is kind of useless too. Nothing was having an inconsistency after all. This is an important fact. Please add it to the testimony.
It would seem to be a fact most inconvenient for the defense. But if you insist, Detective Sky, please add what you just said to your testimony.
Yes, Your Majesty. She's happy because at least she's given us an angle. He was an illegal immigrant, so we don't know his real name. Shall I press this to try and find out more as well? But this is obviously going to be my statement to strike upon. Isn't there some way to track down his real name? No, not if he was an illegal immigrant. Have you actually confirmed that he was in Khura'in illegally?
Well, we don't have any conclusive evidence. But there's also no evidence of him being a citizen of Khura'in either.
Oh boy. Now what do we do?
What if there was a clue in the evidence you gathered?
Well, of course there's going to be one. That's probably our only hope at this point. If he really was an illegal immigrant, our proverbial goose is probably cooked. So what we need to look for is anything that could identify him. He may be mistaken for a rebel and killed. Is more to the point, he probably was a rebel after all, considering who he was working for at the point in time. And if he was faking his name, maybe that's exactly why he's in there. He's like undercover working. So what am I looking to present? Rebel hideout photo? Probably not. In the evidence we've got, it would be stuff around him. I mean, could that weird thing on his neck be an identification marker that they could probably find out who it was from? I mean, that's how they generally go about identifying bodies and records, etc. You go by, well, you know, if it's, you know, next of kin, etc., you can contact that. You go by identified biomarkers, or in the worst case scenarios, when you don't know who someone is because they are sadly disfigured or something by whatever accident befell them. Well, that would be my only real bet at this point. That's the only thing relating to him. So I guess we'll go with that, and if we take one of these penalty hits, we'll be fine.
Objection!
Good. Sorry, Detective Sky. But the police missed something important in their investigation.
What are you talking about?
The victim was undeniably a Khura'inese native. And this crime scene proves it. It does? It's a little hard to see, but look closely. You'll see clear proof that the victim was Khura'inese.
But where? I don't see anything that would prove that.
This proves the victim was Khura'inese. It's the marking on the back of his neck.
Take that!
Look at the tattoo right here. Why, that's a tattoo of a peach. I would like you all to think about the meaning of this tattoo.
Oh, the victim really liked peaches?
Well, peaches are a favorite delicacy in Khura'in.
They happen to be a personal favorite of mine. The sweetness of their butter nectars and the softness of their perfectly ripe flesh.
I don't see where we're going with this. I'm glad I got it right, but I'm just going by identifiable markers because that's how you would hopefully get some kind of record of that kind of thing.
They are a blessing from the Holy Mother herself. Nick, I've suddenly got a craving for peaches.
After the trial, Maya. Right now, we have bigger fish to fry. We can fry some peaches. Unfortunately, that is not a tattoo of a peach. It is not a peach, you say? Then what is it? I don't even know! Take a closer look. Oh, yeah! What the hell, man? I'm just going by identifiable markers. Haven't you seen something like that before? Namely, the tattoo on the High Priest's brow. What the... See, we can work through it. We're trying to go with, like, real-life things, but Phoenix Wright always has a thing of surprising you, doesn't it? With what it pulls out. Namely, the tattoo on the High Priest's brow. Oh, my! What? Yeah, I'm in the same boat here. This mark is only borne by members of the Khura'inist clergy.
Objection!
So that is what you believe it to be. But are they not utterly different shapes? Sure, they're shaped differently, but there's a reason for that. The victim had the peach-shaped tattoo inked over an existing tattoo for some reason. However, the dark red portion is exactly the same as the mark all Khura'inist clergy bear.
Hey, you're right.
Until about 20-something odd years ago, everyone did get one, didn't they? I myself bear one on my right buttock. That is entirely too much information, Your Majesty. Information on everyone who enters the clergy is maintained at the temple. All we have to do is look up a monk with a mark in the same spot.
I'm on it. I'll let you know if I get any hits.
That will not be necessary if you seek information on the clergy. I have it all right here.
Oh my! You never cease to amaze! Now tell us, is there anyone who fits the bill?
You better tell me there is. There is just one, and his name is Real Nemu. Real name! Is it Real Nemu? He became a monk 20 years ago. And that must be the victim's real name.
But why would he have tried to cover up his tattoo of another one?
Yeah, there must have been some reason. Nick, that's not important right now. The important thing is we know his real name. You're right. Your Majesty, now that we know the victim's real name, the divination seance may finally work.
A lawyer who willingly seeks a seance. This is entirely unprecedented.
You are but digging your own grave, defense. We won't know that until we try. Sure, it's risky, but it's our only hope.
Very well. Let the divination seance be held once more.
Why would a lawyer work so hard to see the divination seance be held once more? You are a fool, barbed head, and your foolishness shall yield no gratitude from me. For with the truth revealed by my insights, I shall gladly seek your demise. Bring it on, princess. Because I will correctly interpret each and every one of your insights. You will regret ever thinking you could use my sacred insights as evidence.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
So this time will it work? King Gil Plume Punisher theme? Heavy? Pain. What? Plume Punisher theme? Well, that's an interesting seance.
Oh my! It is just as Mr. Wright surmised. Puhray Zeh'lot wasn't the victim's true name. And now at last we have seen the victim's final moments.
But, all we could see was the ground. You seem terribly disappointed. I take it you did not find any fodder for one of your infamous turnabouts? I, on the other hand, have discovered something. Conclusive evidence that establishes the accused's guilt. You did? A most surprising surprise attack! So tell us, Protector Zedmani, what is this conclusive evidence you have found? What is it indeed, as 2 divination seances have been danced for us this episode, but finally, with a little Nemu obtained, we managed to find out a little bit. So it's going to be a seance or insights based on sound rather than sight this time. Going to be quite interesting to challenge, but that said, it's mostly been sound we've been doing it in the past anyway. Join me next time for more Spirit of Justice, where we'll start to pick apart Wraither's insights. Bye-bye.